Is it worth reading Daughter of Fire, like up close and personal? To have the feelings? I think there are stages that we all go through. I don't know. Well, first, someone tells you that it's a good book. Okay. Now, it depends who tells you it's a good book. Because that has a lot to do with your approach to the book. You know, if you're told that you should read Daughter of Fire by someone that you don't care for, you don't respect much, you don't think very highly of, you're not going to approach the book with the same, I suppose, dignity and respect. You're going to say, oh, you know, Amir told me to read the book. And what the hell does Amir know? You know, I ask him about, like, what's a good place to go to have hamburger. He tells me In and Out, their food is really, really bad. How can I really expect him, you know, to say something valuable about a good book? Or what is a good book? So that's the first thing. Now, when you go to the book, before even going to the book, you happen to be in a place where your emotions are all over the place. You know, they have blossomed, they are erupting, you are very intense, there's a good amount of chaos within. And now the question is, when you read this book, will you relate to the book, or is the book going to relate to you? The characters in the book, is the woman Irina Tweedy going to have similar emotions to the ones that live inside you? Okay. So the thing about having intense emotions is that intense emotions force you into aloneness. You become very, very alone. And when you're alone, you can only take so much loneliness before you explode. You want someone who understands you. سینه خواهم شهر از فراق تا بگویم شهر درد اشتیاق. That, you know, my heart is broken. When I look around, all the people I see around me are those whose heart remain intact. They have no idea what it means to have a broken heart. I am around them, but they're useless for me. I am looking for a heart, or a human being whose heart has been broken very much like mine. So you approach the book saying, okay, this is what I'm going through. This is what I've been exposed to in philosophy, in religion. I have been given, for example, I don't know, the meat or the essence or the nectar of philosophy. And I want to know if Daughter of Fire has the things that live inside me. So you read a couple of pages and you like the language, you like the introduction, you like the preface, and it creates a nice visual. I'm in India, on a rickshaw, it's dusty, it's hot. All of a sudden I see this man. He looks like a prophet. And then there is the word India. India has this great image, you know. And so you have intense emotions. The book speaks to your intense emotions and you just read. And as you read, you come to kind of believe that both you and perhaps Irina are going through the same journey. That your passions, your interests, you're both inspired in a similar way. You don't read the book to understand. You read the book to feel. And once in a while, you read the book to understand the ways you feel, you know. And as you feel yourself in the book, and as you understand your feelings by reading the book, you feel less alone. The book becomes more of a companion than simply a book. then naturally, like anything else in life, your body can handle so much intensity. Your mind can tolerate, I suppose, only so much chaos, and eventually your body shuts down and everything becomes normal again. You know how the book starts, you know what Irina is going to go through. It's kind of like the story that we talked about in class, that there is no permanence. You're not going to go back and read the book and feel the same stuff. The book is going to become relatively boring, uninteresting, uninspiring. And then you say, okay, I want to now go back to Daughter of Fire, not because I feel anything. I want to know, understand, see, dissect how her spiritual journey begins. You become like an investigator. I want to know the teacher and student relationship. And then you begin to take notes. And you don't really have intense feelings. Once in a while, you discover something. It's like having a revelation of sorts. You say, wow, I didn't know that. And it's your own discovery. And that discovery inspires you. Remember, it's not the book that inspires you, it's what you discover that inspires you. And you have now entered a different stage of your own intellectual, spiritual growth, which is, you don't want to be pushed around by emotions. You don't care for those emotions anymore. You want to understand certain aspects of the journey towards the spiritual growth, if you want to call it that, an intellectual growth, or the journey just towards becoming a relatively decent human being. You know? And it's a good place to be. There was this show on TV called Friends. I don't know. So there is Chandler and Monica, and then there is Phoebe and this guy she just met. He's a police officer, I think. And so Phoebe and this new guy, the relationship was like 2 days old. And so because they love each other so much, every chance they get, they go to like some corner dark where nobody can see them, and they become intimate. And so they're in this restaurant, the four of them are having dinner, and Phoebe says, oh, I think I have to go use the restroom. And this guy, I just call him Bob, he says, yeah, I think I'm going to come and join you. And then they come back, and they both look a little flushed. And Chandler, after having some food, says, I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom. And he's in the bathroom, he's doing what he's doing. And all of a sudden, Monica enters. And Monica says to him, forgive me, let's just do this. Do what? What they did. No, this is a men's bathroom. Get out. Why can't we be like that? We used to be like that. Says, yeah, we used to be. We are now in a different stage in our relationship. We can come here, enjoy a nice quiet meal, go home, watch a movie, and then go to sleep. We don't need to be like that anymore. That stage for us has passed. And I think when you understand the stages relatively well, or not even understanding them, when you kind of accept your position in life, your inner position in life, that, see, I used to fast, I used to fast not for 30 days. Sometimes I would fast for 50 days. Sometimes I used to pray, and I used to pray even while washing cars. I wouldn't talk to anybody. And sometimes, as I'm driving home, I tell Sarah every night as I'm driving home from school, I call my dad and we have a great time. Sometimes he says, oh, Amir, okay, I got to hang up because it's getting late and I need to pray. Say, yeah, Dad, okay, pray for me too. Then he says, what happened to you? I said, what do you mean, Dad? I mean, we fasted because we saw you fasting. We prayed because we saw you praying. And we started reading because we saw you reading all the time. What the hell happened to you? I say, yeah, I tried. It's just not working out anymore. I can't fake it. I'm not inspired like that anymore. And that's what I'm talking about. You kind of just say, and maybe it's because I'm lazy and I like coffee and food too much. I don't really know. But whatever the case may be, I'm okay with, the place I am most of the times. So this next time when you approach the book and you say, well, I'm not really feeling anything. I don't care why Irina goes to India. And I read the bold, the talks of Bhai Sahib. Yeah, these are great things, but so what? I can find them in a fortune cookie. Uh, and then you come to a different stage where you say, and let's just say now you're in the classroom teaching the class, and you want to tell your students about the relationship between Socrates and Plato, or Peter and Jesus Christ. So, well, the dialogues of Plato doesn't really discuss, their relationship. The New Testament doesn't really say much about the relationship between Jesus and Peter. Oh, maybe I can go look at Daughter of Fire. Because that's what it is, the merging between the student and the teacher. And now you approach the book differently because you really want to understand, what the steps are, how the emotions are in every step, how someone overcomes. Why is it that the student submits? Why is it that that first it is the student who needs the teacher? And at what stage is it that the teacher needs the student? You know? And it's a great book to kind of plow through and take notes in a very reflective, intellectual way. Because you need sobriety, you need detachment. Your reflective abilities need to be divorced from the emotions because emotions have a tendency of contaminating. You know, your reflective thinking about, the stages. So, it's like anything else. You buy your car, you wash it every day. Sometimes you just wash it every week and then you wash it every year and then you just sell it. You know, I don't know if you walked around the house and you've seen my musical instruments. The string is broken in one. The the back, the wood is cracked in the other. One of them, there is an inch thick of dust, and Yusuf has broken one of the mezrabs or hammers. I just don't care. I don't sing. I don't play. There are moments where I'm inspired to kind of buy a new set of amplifier and speakers and microphones because I hope when I'm in my fantasy moods that the kids are mature enough and grown enough where they're not gonna, their destructive mode is finished. Uh, and and I'm okay with not singing and not playing. I never sing or play. First, because we don't really gather very much anymore, me and my friends. And so, yeah. Sorry, Gining, I rambled on so much I forgot your question. It had something to do with book. Yeah, You know, it's funny about kids. They can't stand, so they hold your hand. They can't walk, so they hold your hand. They can't ride their bike, so they hold your hand. They are so dependent on you. They need you so much. And then one day, as they say, they're going to go skateboarding. You say, oh my God, they're going to fall. So you go out to hold their hand. Says, Dad, what are you doing? You're going to fall. Fall? I've been doing this for the past 10 years. I'm never going to fall. I don't need you. Go back home, in your wheelchair. And you kind of sit back and say, well, that's a great loss. It's good to be dependent, or it's good to have your kids be dependent on you in a sincere way, in an honest way. She just doesn't know how to ride a bike. She says, can you just hold the bike and just run after me so I don't fall? And when she falls, she cries and then she jumps into your arms and you hold her, and she cries and puts her head on your shoulder. When they get a little older, they have learned how to contain their emotions. In front of you, they won't cry. They'll go to their room and they'll cry. They'll wash their face and come out and they look okay. And, they become less and less dependent on you, to the point that they call you once a week, once a month. And like Murso, they won't even visit you. They put you in a nursing home somewhere to rot. When you look at the growing stages of Irina, she would get hurt so easily by the looks and the words of Bhai Sahib. She would cry. She would go and sit in his house for like hours without him ever talking to her. And yet she would go. There was this great longing in you. She wasn't strong. She was a weakling. It was yesterday, I think, in the office where I said, well, let me just, see if there are new videos of Irina. I listened to some of the old videos. This is not the woman in the first 700-800 pages of the book. This is like a man in a woman's body. She is tough. And you can hear the toughness in the way she speaks. She has like metal, iron on the inside, but nothing can bend her or destroy her. And you sometimes have to sit back and wonder, does Irina cry? Does she know how to pray anymore? Did she ever fall in love with a teacher the way she fell in love with that guy? Does she have any yearnings or longings that resembled, how she was in the first few hundred pages? I don't think it's Irina anymore. And, she's human like the rest of us. And I have no doubt once in a while she will sit back in her loneliness and say, I miss those days. Because now I have to create everything from my inside. Before, I used to go to Bhai Sahib and he would give things to me. It's too much. I want rest. I want Bhai Sahib to take care of me. I want to love someone like that the way I used to. And you realize that as you become more mature, you just begin to lose certain abilities. You'll gain different ones. But you reminisce, So it's too bad. But Irina is different than someone like me, whose life is filled with distractions. Irina really was focused for about 20 years. It was like a magnifying glass. She becomes hardened because she understands. I become hardened because I get lost in distractions and then I forget. And then I lose all the feelings.